1.
Hello,
Hey, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm very well. We are here celebrating the Global Party 2017, and this is Emiliano Zuniga. Did I say it right?
Zuniga. Yeah, it's kind of,
I gotta practice my hola, ¿cómo estás?
yeah, exactly. And the accents in Spanish, they're very important.
So, Emiliano is in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Born in Costa Rica. He's living in the family home in Costa Rica called the Costa Rica Initiative. And he is going to talk to us today about the illusion of ageism. So when I asked him about a song that he liked to play, liked to listen to that inspired him, this is it. We're going to play a little bit of this one. So hold on. This is Edward
Artemiev.
Artemiev. Yes. Okay, here we go. It's a meditation song. Wow, just that little bit, I can feel my energy resonating and recalibrating. Does it bring you just this sense of peace?
Yeah, it's like a flute. I usually sense flutes like a very peaceful thing. So I think I liked it because of that.
Well, I must admit that a lot of our speakers are a little older than you are, and hence we tend to be of the older model. We don't have the software update. So hence your topic about the illusion of ageism is perfect. So how did you actually come to live in this wonderful family home in the Costa Rica Initiative, and what is it that you want to share exactly with our audience to enlighten them in their transformation?
Okay. Well, I came to this house. I actually didn't came. I helped to create this initiative.
Mm-hmm.
As you will talk, I guess, tomorrow with Don McDougall, he wrote a process that is called the journey. It's a process that is based on 7 questions and 40 focus meditations. So I did the journey here in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
You know, I met him and we became very good friends, and I did the journey. And once I finished, together with other people, we started to discuss the idea of creating a home that it was kind of like journey based.
Mm-hmm.
So here we receive people that do the process, or we work online with people doing the process in any part of the world. So it has moved a lot. You know, we have had many people doing the journey, fortunately. And I'm starting to work with people. And here comes what I want to share. One of my main fears about working with people is that, as you said, you know, a lot of the people are very different ages.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how I kind of like want to approach it. What I mean with ageism, and what it really means for me, is that I discovered or realized that in this process of the journey, it was not based on becoming something, but more in like undoing self-judgments, undoing beliefs, to go back to that essence that I am and you are and everybody is since the day we born.
Yeah.
And it's an essence that it doesn't change with age, right? It's the I am, is like the essence that allows me to be alive.
Yes.
So it's kind of like that way uh, that I kind of transcended that fear, by realizing that this is not about giving more knowledge to somebody. It's about pointing out the knowledge that the person may have and question it. So it's kind of like not a construction process. It's more in the other way. It's kind of like undoing process.
Well, I think that's very wise, because that's to me, what we're doing right now. We're unlearning all the things that we've learned. I mean, I have a 22-year-old and almost 18-year-old, and I do take schooling from them when they will point out the fact that I'm running what we call a story. I'm caught up in a pattern, and they'll say, hey, and I have to remember that they are, from my stand, is a newer version of what reality is really true, very quick on their vibration. So you are probably ahead of the game where most of the people are that are coming to you. So to just...
Yeah, it's kind of like, and this is all something that we always say, sometimes when we live a lot of time with some belief or with some judgment, it's kind of like we have lived it for so long that it's more difficult to let it go.
Yes.
Well, for people that may have lived with a judgment for, I would say, less years, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, I would let it go. It takes something, of course, but we have lived, I guess, less things with that judgment or based in that judgment or in that belief. So it kind of, it could be easier, for a younger person to let go some belief or some judgment. But anyway, the result or the outcome of the letting go is really the same, is the essence.
Yes.
The essence that we all are, and it doesn't depend on any age, nationality, or any other thing. So it's like what you were saying. It's wise, and that's kind of like a concept that I question. For some people, wisdom it's accumulation of experience. While for me, it's actually the opposite. It's the less you know, the more spontaneous, the more connected, the more oneness you can feel with the universe. Because there is less obstacles in your mind, less to filter. Yeah.
So when you describe for the audience here where you were before you met Dawn, okay, and in your perception of the world, and where you are now, and how different your essence has shifted.
Okay, my essence has not shifted, but the filters that I had are less.
Okay.
In a time I was living mostly in fear. A fear that was disguised in anger. So I was angry and complaining and comparing myself with other people and with others people process. And it was based on the idea of I'm not good enough, or maybe the people can wake up or they can do the process and really heal, but I don't think I don't think I will do it. So it was always this idea of me being smaller or me being less. And after the journey, it's kind of like I question where all these judgments of being less came from. If it came from, I don't know, me being shy, for example, in kindergarten or whatever, and me feeling, I am one against the others, and understanding what that kid felt in that moment, and instead of rejecting it and hiding it, inviting him to my life, inviting that innocence and that cuteness, let's say.
Yes.
So I can hold that part of myself and use it, for some purpose, for some service to others or to even to myself. So it's kind of like after meeting Donald, well, after the journey, I would say, my life have shifted in the way that I have less resistance to accept and to flow, to flow with the present, to surrender things that are not in my control,
Right.
and to be more observing in, okay, I am being angry because I'm wanting to control this or that, or I'm afraid because I unknown what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like less paying attention to the story in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
and more surrendering that and realizing that even without the story, I'm complete.
Yes. That is
So
the essence, right? That your essence is complete, that you're saying from the time you were born to now, it's still the same. It's that vibration that runs through the whole universe, that essence
yeah,
that's similar, right?
the perfect intelligence, the I am, yeah, so many ways of calling. I would say the perfect intelligence, the one that really allows me to be.
So I know that you basically in your initiative, you have like a giving economy, but the rest of the people probably maybe have never even heard that term or have, well, they could just be enlightened about it. Let's just put it that way. So do you want to describe how that has come to be?
Well, we don't charge for our services, so it's kind of like we are based on giving instead of giving and take. And by doing that, I have realized, that one of my deepest fears that it was, I will be unstable and where will I have something to eat or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that it was more valuable for me to realize is that the universe is not against me,
Right.
and it actually wants to take care of me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like, uh, and this is something that I can talk about too, like these ideas or beliefs that for me to be somebody or for me to be worthy, I have to do, or I have to improve that self that born in, you
Mm-hmm.
know, 20 or 30 or 50 years ago. And it's like surrendering that identity, that false identity, the ego or the shadow, or it actually brought me into a place of understanding or and connecting that it's everything will be provided as I need it. And this is a very big difference between what I want and what I need. What I need may be very basic. What my ego wants may be a lot, and so it's kind of surrendering my wants and, flowing with what I need. And for example, this opportunity of speaking is something that just showed up,
Yeah.
So it's kind of like some people in the other side of the computer we are meeting for the first time without my effort, thanks to you channel it, or, the universe channel it somewhere. So it's kind of, yeah, like surrendering and being friend or being one with the flow or with the present or what we chose up,
Mm-hmm.
instead of being afraid and rejecting and say, oh, I will need and I will need and I will need. And this is something we practice here. We usually almost never say I have to. We always say I want to or I prefer, because saying I have to, it's kind of like you are already setting yourself to believe
Mm-hmm.
that you have to, that if I don't stand up for this chair, my life will ruin or whatever. So it's kind of like I prefer that when this is finished, I will stand up and continue. So that's the difference. It's like instead of setting myself to believe that I have to do something, it's okay, I prefer because of this.
That's a great shift in language. I know that most people can benefit from. I usually say things like, people would say, I should do this, and I say, at least change that to, I could do it if I really wanted to, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, just as you're talking about the flow, I mean, it made me think about this whole event because, I mean, most of the people that are here, I think maybe just two I really had a personal connection with. And the rest has just been totally guided to reach out, and some of the synchronicities and the connections, it's just amazing how it's all come to be. And at the beginning, when we went to launch today, right, and thinking, okay, it's opening party, here we go, we couldn't get the technology to work. And, we had to have men up with the phone. And I thought, wow, years ago, I would have been stressed out, just that whole concept of, oh, it's not, and I was just like, this is so much fun. I was just having fun realizing, what, this isn't working. What else can we try? Right? To be surrendering in the process and keeping your joy and being part of that journey, right, is a heck of a lot more fun. And I think that's the essence of life. It's when you feel you have to do something and you lose that joy, that's when there starts to be a disconnect and things manifest in different ways.
Yeah, that's how the concept I use is surrender.
Yes.
Being surrendered, being open. Mm-hmm. Not trying to control it, but more, okay, let's see how this will, how it will go.
So as you surrendered to the part that you're going to help older people in age come to do the journey in Costa Rica, what is an example you can give people of what came up for you in this process, and then how you had to handle it?
Okay. Well, I will put an example of something that actually happened. When we came here, we started to receive people from outside. Mm-hmm. And we received a lady. She was kind of like the first, foreign visitant that came. And she was here, and she's a little older age-wise than me. And she was doing the journey. And when she finished some of the, of the process of the first questions, I say, oh, how is it going? Would you like to discuss it with me? And she was very honest, and she say, well, to be honest, I think you're very young to help me. And I say, okay, yeah, so you can go with Don, or you will meet Don, everybody will meet Don tomorrow, I think.
Right.
And because he looks, this that we were saying, he looks wise.
Yeah.
Because of the beard, and because of a concept and a belief that we have about age.
Yes.
And it was okay. I say, okay, this is not about me. You do the journey as you feel it. Mm-hmm. And well, she stayed here for almost a month, and like at the second week or so, she started to look for me and say, I kind of need to discuss with you, because just the idea that you are younger than me and that you are understanding this in another way, mm-hmm. or in a more convenient way, even for me, makes me angry, and making me angry, it kind of helped me to realize deeper things in my subconscious.
Beautiful.
So I say, well, yeah, I'm glad I can help that way, and it was not something I was planning to. Of course, I didn't want to make her angry, but it happened, and it's kind of like, I work with people online, and they are older than me. But it's like, since the first days we established that and we talk about why that doesn't matter, age, because I always tell to them, this is not about becoming, this is not a process about becoming something or creating the 2.0 version of yourself. It's actually returning, it's actually unlearning, like you were saying, these old beliefs that don't serve me. So many beliefs that we have about nationality, about race, about gender.
Yeah.
So it's like, once that is established and once the other person understands, it's kind of like that doesn't even matter anymore.
Right.
We are not having an age-based connection. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I'm sure you have some beautiful moments when they meet you in your essence, right? That there's just this awakening and presence that this is all there is, right? We have falsely identified with so many things as reality. And as we let go of those concepts we actually have more freedom and more abundance. And it's difficult for those that are used to tracking down the materialism as a sense. Because I know, like, whatever, 20, 30 years ago, however long it is, I don't want to really, no, I'm still so young, it doesn't really matter. That I was very much in that if I had, it was how much money I made, where my career status was, how many things I had, and that defined me. And when I left that career, then I had to realize that that was this whole illusion, this identification I had with that position and responsibility. And then going to become a mom that was raising her kids holistically and going, ooh, now I'm like totally out of the box and just weird, right? And then all the identifications that I had with that one, right? And now it's like bringing them back into balance and just saying, this is who I really am, the essence of who I am, and my purpose really is to do what I'm doing, is to give people the opportunity to come together so we can heal completely these patterns, these ideas, and we can come back into our essence and shift the dynamics of the planet.
Yeah, and I really relate, in that, because I have friends, from that I met in university or even a longer time, and they have a regular, job and whatever, and they always say to me, I'm in a vacation process, they say like, oh, I was working the whole year or whatever, and when they kind of analyze my life, they believe I'm lazy, oh, I'm wasting my life, I'm wasting the opportunity, or oh, the future will punish me from what I'm doing now.
Right.
And this is something that yeah, it's like it's very difficult to understand until you really take the step. Before coming to this house, I already finished the process of the journey, but I was still holding to this idea of, oh, I will have at least to create some kind of product to sell.
Yeah.
Because I need it. How can I live without that? And when I started to analyze that idea, it was not a money, let's say, looking for. It was not looking for money. It was just protecting me from the fear of stepping out of even that belief, that I need to create something to be worthy and to be rewarded.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like you were saying, the example of this house, and when I came here, I realized nothing ever misses. There's not even a single day that we don't eat properly and sleep properly, and enjoy properly. And actually we have more, or I have more than what I used to be aware of in my parents' house, let's say. I have more because I'm more free, and I also want less. So that's kind of like the key to the abundance that you were talking about. It's not about having, it's about not wanting.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so although you offer the opportunity for people to come to do the journey for free, and you do the courses for free, you do accept donations, correct?
Yeah, we are open to donations. That's like our, like our quote. Our it's free of charge. We are open to donations.
Yeah.
And it always works.
Well, yeah, it's when you start to live in that possibility, right? And again, it's a step. It's through a smaller door, right? It's like you're going up the staircase, and you as you're unlearning everything, things are becoming more in tune with. That's the way I look at it, right? You're becoming more in your essence. So although I'm becoming smaller, the world is becoming bigger, right? Yeah. My possibilities are really unlimited, and this is what I love to share, because people that, I think we talked about this before, they talk about being spiritual, but they're spiritual in a concept, and I was like that too. Okay, so I went through that stage of being spiritual with the sense of making the rules still work for you and how you want to be spiritual.
Yeah.
Surrendering exactly to what you're doing. Like, Do I want to stay awake for 30 hours? If you ask me in my mind, the answer would be no. Have I ever stayed awake for 30 hours? No. But when I was told this is how this global party is going to come to be, I was like, okay, there's a greater plan and my essence is in vibration with it. So I'm going forward. And it's been amazing to me, the people that have come together and all the different avenues that we're getting to share and contribute to each other.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's kind of like you are saying, you know, the smaller my story or my attachment to the self, let's say, or to this idea of the self, the smaller it becomes. Yeah, it's kind of like you start to develop a much higher, or not higher, but something that you didn't imagine before, something that it was very, very abstract, and you were saying, no, 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 that's, you know, that would be in many years for me to do that, you know. And it's like, it's recognizing that we are here now, you know, like, and that we will be guided, like you were saying, you know, because it's kind of like not anymore my story wanting to, you know, to be somebody or to be the center of attention. It's more like, okay, I'm surrendered to whatever it comes. And it seems like what it comes, it's pretty big. You know, it's pretty, uh, it's connecting, it's touches awakening, touches healing, you know, touches these kind of things that that are really deep, you know, into a person's experience. You know, that is not a temporary thing, that is actually a life-changing transformation.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, yeah, being a part of this, and that's what I was, how I started like to talk. It's like being a part of that. It was a very deep fear for me, and one of the main beliefs it was I'm too young for this. You know, I need to live more, or I need to have some kind of higher uh, way of presenting myself. You know, for people to believe me, or for people to even pay attention.
Did you want to share how old you are?
I'm 26.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 26. Okay. You're just,
Yeah.
that's it. 26, but tons of wisdom. And I actually think a lot of the younger generation has that tons of wisdom, that they intuitively already know that the world just does not make sense the way it's been operated for these generations. And you know, a lot of ideas are being just taken from the world and transferred to being online in different ways, disguised as different, but they're still implementing similar concepts. Whereas as we just stand in our essence, there is multiple opportunities and avenues for creating and inspiring.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I think
we have
it's fascinating.
sorry.
I was just going to say, I think it's a fascinating time for everybody.
Yeah, yeah, and I noticed too that, you know, I'm not even young for what people it's starting to, you know, at the age they are starting to question.
Yeah.
You know, there's sometimes I have a cousin that she was very interested in the journey, and she's 16.
Yeah.
You know, and I even had to ask permission for her mother. You know, this, you think this is okay? You know, we will discuss deep things. And she said, yeah, it's, of course. She's not doing it, but I mean, I when I was 16, I have never imagined this other possibility of being, you know, and I never questioned that deep things. And we have, you know, in the journey, even, you know, doing the process and finishing the process, there is people that it's younger, you know, in the age, you know, and it's, yeah, it's kind of like you're saying, it seems like this shift, it's not in our control. It's kind of like a higher plan, you know, like, and it seems there is more and more people unsatisfied, you know, with how the world operates.
Yeah.
And so what can I do, you know, or is there a way out? And, you know, that single idea of if there's a way out is kind of like the door is open, you know, you start to discover that there's more than one way out.
Yeah.
And but they all, yeah, they all come back to that idea, to that thing about questioning who I believe I am,
Mhm.
and questioning my self-image, you know, and all those things. So it's kind of like you're saying, it's exciting.
Yeah.
You know, I really have no idea of where my life will go, but in a daily basis, it's kind of, you know, I know it's perfect. I know it's part of some perfect plan,
Mhm.
kind of like this conversation.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, you're helping a lot of people, and that whole you're expanding right with the journey throughout online, and there's lots of new things that are going on. And we will be talking to Dawn a little bit more tomorrow, and we're talking to Natsuko, right, later on, like at the top of the hour. So she has her own story of how she came to Costa Rica, thanks to you, I might add. You being your essence and sharing. I think well, we'll just wait and let her explain the story. But is there any words of wisdom that you'd like to just leave our viewers with?
Well, I would say, you know, don't get caught in trying to enlighten the ego that doesn't exist. You know, like you were saying, you were there. That was my way of starting too. You know, I really wanted to be spiritual, but because of what can I get of this? You know, I will get more attention. I will be the center. So it's kind of like honesty for me. That's key thing. You know, be really honest about what do you feel about things. What do you feel about yourself? What are you willing to let go?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not obligatory to let go everything at once. You know, it's kind of like just being honest and say, okay, I'm willing to let go of this.
Right.
This is not serving me anymore. And and you know, this a lot of spiritual practices say don't think. And for me, there is a difference between thinking and kind of contemplating. You know, I would say contemplate your mind, contemplate how it works, and just think for a moment that what if it doesn't have to be that way?
Right.
You know, what if the software, like you were saying, the software, the mind, the filter, it is actually not an obligation, and what if you can live without a lot of things that may be happening in your mind, and a lot of actions that we take and behaviors. So honesty for me, that's key, and it's kind of like the center, you know, question, like what is really what I'm looking for in this spiritual, if you're in the spiritual process or in any process. You know, is this for my little me, or is this because I want to surrender the little me? And
Yeah.
that's a very big difference. Yeah.
Yes, and a whole other conversation. The little
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I hope this is not the last global party. I guess
No,
this will
I
continue.
think this is the beginning of a lot of great things. There is just a wonderful community here, and that we're really starting to heart connect and really understand the value of each of us. As I like to say, we're each our own note, and or our own drop in the ocean, however you want to say it. But as we all come together, we just make something completely, entirely beautiful.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
thank
yeah.
oh,
Thank you very much. No, no. I just wanted to invite people to check our site if they're interested. I can leave it. I don't know if in the chat or.
please put it in the chat, or actually just put it back on this. Will be posted on the page. Just go back and add a comment so everybody can see. Because like Diane didn't know it existed, you know, and probably most people didn't know it existed, and that's why I think I was led to, connect.
Okay, it's very easy. It's Costa Rica Initiative.com. You know, and there you will find what is the journey, what is the family house,
Yes.
and what is the initiative, and what is that we envision. You know, because we are envisioning a community
Yes.
and a larger place, and you know, to grow things and to be kind of self-sustainable. And so we are looking for a lot of things, and if you want to be a part of it, don't doubt. You know, you're welcome already. You don't have to do anything for being welcome. So yeah, I just wanted to send the invitation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mwah!
Thank you very much. Big hug for you, and I'm sure this will go perfect, and we will see in another global party.
Absolutely. Have a great
Okay.
night. Thanks for
You
being
too.
here.
You
Okay.
too.
Bye.
Bye bye.